Hi, it's Krista at the Secret Yarnery. Welcome to Crochet Podcast, episode 160. Thank you so much for inviting me over. I'm super excited to share today with you. There is a whole bunch of things I have finished, a whole bunch of things I'm working on. Plus, I'm going to take you out and about. You've asked to get an update on the pets, so that is coming up at the end of the podcast, as well as some good old-fashioned bloopers. So stay tuned for that. And to start out, let me go grab a coffee. Today's coffee is brought to us by Alicia. Thank you so much, Alicia, for this delicious mug of my favorite coffee. And if you'd like a shout out in an upcoming video, consider buying me a coffee. What have I been working on lately? A lot of things. Some things have been like a project I've wanted to do for a really long time. I wanted to redo, I wanted to explain better, film better, enunciate better, starting with a proper granny square tutorial for beginners, because a lot of people struggle with granny squares, and granny squares kind of have a reputation of just being like super easy for beginners. Like, you want to learn how to crochet, do a granny square. Granny squares are a challenge for almost half of brand new crocheters. Some of them can totally do it. They love granny squares. It is a good, quick, easy, simple project. But when you're starting out, it's also really hard to see what a corner is, what a side space is, what your stitches look like, all of that. Very confusing for a lot of people, not for everybody. But for some people it really is. And I wanted to do a tutorial for those people that get stuck on granny squares. So I did. It's a long one. It's like 45 minutes or something like that, because I walk you through making a granny square and leaving you with the confidence to make any size. So you don't have to be like, this is her granny square, so I have to do the same. You can keep going and make it, of course, any size you like, which is common sense if you have been crocheting for a while. But if you are new to crochet, following those exact instructions is kind of inbred. Like, that's how you learn. You copy exactly what the teacher tells you to do. But I wanted our new students or people learning to crochet to have the confidence to do any of these styles of granny squares. Like, it's just a color change, and you can color change as often or as little as you like. So all of these granny squares are, of course, the exact same pattern. It's just joining and finishing off your yarn, or joining and continuing with the same yarn. So that tutorial is out, and if you know anyone who's struggling with granny squares, point them over to it, because that is what it's there for. It is for people struggling with granny squares, hopefully struggling no more. So that is already done, and I'm really happy with it. Turns out I use the exact same colors. I am stuck on these colors. I mean, I love them. But I'm like, everybody loves purple, everybody loves turquoise, like I do. They go so great together. But apparently, like, every granny square tutorial I do is these colors. So I should have done different colors. But that's my only negative critique of my own work. I can deal with gorgeous colors that I've happened to use before. So these live in a little Ziploc. So what I do with the things I need, so I still need to do thumbnails, I need them for photos. I just keep them in a Ziploc bag, and then I keep them in a tote. So I have little things I've used for classes or instructional parts of videos. I keep those all in little Ziploc bags, all in a tote, and then I can just kind of go through and be like, oh yeah, I wanted to show you that. And it's all kind of handy, waiting for you, waiting for me. Now, I know we've talked about this in some live chats and the rest of it, but this is my luscious ambient shawl with lettuce berry or berry lettuce border. See the berries and see the lettuce? It's pretty great, but it's also too huge to actually wear. I probably did I show you this in the last podcast? It's actually too huge to wear. I have worn it like once. I end up getting too hot. I end up tripping on it. My hands are stuck in it. It is just way too big. I'll show you again in case I didn't show you last time. This is where it is on my hands. I mean, I love it. It's just too huge. I don't even know how much yarn I used. I used a lot of yarn for that. So also on my list, my little bucket list of things I wanted to get done this year, or any year, but I'm happy to do it this year, to be honest, is that shawl in a tutorial, because I did crochet that in the summer when, of course, my kids were home and I wasn't filming during the summer. So I'm working on that as a C2C, which got me back to where is my ultimate guide for C2C? Where is my C2C masterclass? I have done some C2C tutorials and the instructions are great, but the audio is not that great. The camera is not that great. It's like before I had any sort of equipment for videos. So I am I'm filming an entire C2C masterclass, which I would like your help with. So start thinking C2C masterclass. Are you scared of C2C? If so, what scares you about it? Have you tried it? What was tricky? Like, I just want to include everything in that one video. I don't care how long it is. I'm good at chapters. We can chapter it out. But any question or issue with C2C answered within that masterclass video. Do you know what I mean? So obviously increasing, where to join, all the rest of it. How to decrease into a square, how to decrease into a rectangle, how to do the modifications to a C2C so you can do like smaller chain holes. I can show you actually. Just happen to have all my C2C stuff right here. Where's the little guy? Here he is. So let me show you. This is classic C2C. That is just normal. I'm using size 4 worsted weight yarn and a 6mm crochet hook. This is the same yarn, the same hook, but with smaller chain spaces. So this is a modification you can do. It does change a little bit like of the fabric. Actually, it doesn't look like it does it? There we go. See how this one's floppier and this one is stiffer? Because this has a little bit of, it has one more chain. This has one less chain. One less chain, one more chain. Then I also did the C2C with half double crochets instead of double crochets. And that one is a lot stiffer. Like, it is stiff. But cute also. So I guess these are alternatives you can use to doing graph gans and things like that, to do like a C2C graph gan. Now, I'm not going to put graph gans in the masterclass because, or should I? No, I can't do a whole, but maybe like changing colors in the middle of a, in the middle of a square, or changing colors on a square. I do changing colors at the end of the row. Maybe I should put changing colors in the middle of a row. Is that something that we should put in there? So these I'm just going to be doing, they're going to be like small little chapters, just a little explainer. Also wondering if we should put how to, like a simple C2C border in the same masterclass, or if we should put borders for granny squares and C2Cs in like a whole, in a separate video or a separate playlist. There's so many options, right? So I don't know. Maybe just edging it, how to edge your C2C and then kind of leave it open for the border. I don't know, you tell me if that should be in the video or not. And whatever problems or concerns or questions you have about C2C, also let me know in the comments so that I can also include them in the video so that it is like a one-stop shop for everything C2C. Love it. Which gets me up to, so this is going to come out so everybody can be C2C'ing. Oh, I have so many ideas for C2C, it's ridiculous. But also the shawl can come out, like, 'cause everyone's gonna know how to do C2C. You're gonna have your confidence up, so you can do the luscious shawl with me. Oops, I'm throwing C2C around. Drop that one. So all that is filmed and ready to go, but I'm just wondering what else I should include in it to answer all of your questions. So if you have any questions about C2C, let me know in the comments. And yes, of course, it's purple and turquoise again. Purple and turquoise. I'm on a total bender. I don't know, but I'm loving on it. So that is all ready to go. I want to do a C2C scrap GAN. And then I'm like, does it have to be a scrap GAN? Can I not just pretend it's a scrap GAN and use some of that gorgeous yarn up there? Hold on, I'll show you. Boop. I want to use, where's my arm? There it is. I think I want to use that. If I'm pointing to what I think I'm pointing to. Like a self-striping, gorgeous yarn. Yes. Yes, I want to do it. So this is also done, ready. Just editing on it now. But it's not in a Ziploc bag yet because I'm still actively, filming bits and pieces to add to the masterclass. So that'll be coming out this following week, so keep your eyes out for that. And we also, if you watched the video, oh look, I matched. Don't you just love that? Makes me happy when my yarn matches my outfit. The yarn holder spinnery things, these little jobbies, did our unboxing review if you haven't seen it. About how, what they're for and everything. And then there was some very good comments under the video, which is why it's so important, or why I really cherish your comments, because some of those are like, boom, totally great idea. So I did pull yarn from these while we were talking, right here, sitting right here, pulling out the yarn, and it worked fine. One of the comments was, well, try crocheting with it to see, because sometimes, you pull the yarn and it goes, woo, and then it underwinds underneath it. Apparently, this style, where it spins on a base, the yarn can get stuck inside there, which of course we wouldn't want. So I was like, that's a great idea. So I took them downstairs, sat down, did a little bit of work on my granny square project, which I'm super excited about, but it's nowhere near being done, so zip it. Took these downstairs to give them a try. So I used these two. For this little guy, I had to go and get a fresh ball of yarn. So this is a fresh ball of yarn. And this is a ball of yarn I'd already center pulled and then shoved it onto the base, which seems to be holding well. It works great. I had no problem with it whatsoever. Maybe I don't pull extremely, I just crochet. So I didn't really yank on it or anything, but I had no problems with it. And it totally held this half empty ball of yarn. So I wonder, Let's see if it's just a larger base. It is a larger base, which gets me thinking larger bases are better. So pay attention to that when you're shopping. Another comment. Oh, so let me tell you about that. So this one gave me no problems whatsoever. This gave me no problems whatsoever. I could crochet from it. I never had to untangle anything. I never had to put anything back on. It worked great, even though it looks, it looks pretty bad. It worked great. This little guy, I don't know what happened. Even now after I crocheted, you can see the yarn is at the bottom in there. It's like right underneath. If I pull on it, it starts coming out again. So every time it gets to the bottom of the ball, you have to like give it a pull. So there's a bit of a pull, like every once in a while it's like, oh, I have to pull the yarn. I didn't have to yank it, but when I was crocheting, it was a noticeable tightness, like a noticeable tension on the yarn for this one here. But let me just wind this up. Good lordy. There we go. So the little one, it still worked great. I didn't find any of them sliding on the sofa beside me. They just stayed where they were supposed to be. Although one tip underneath the video, thank you very much, was to clamp it, like use like a clamp, to just clamp the base onto your tabletop. Like if you have a pet or a cat that wants to come over and grab it, you can just clamp it to a work surface and it won't budge. I was like, that is a very good idea. Another comment, which never even dawned on me, and I didn't really realize how much I don't like it until that lovely comment, was these little beauties, these little contraptions. You say goodbye to yarn barf. You never have to find the center pull. You never have to deal with like, is it a good pull? Is the yarn, like you never have to like use up that center chunk before you get to the chunk of the, like the main ball of yarn. You don't pull out like a mini ball of yarn trying to find the tail. You just put a brand new ball on, work from the outside. When you're done, just slide the wrapper back on and put it back in your yarnscape. And I'm like, that would save me so much effort. Because as you do work from the inside, you get crazy little shapes like this, right? You get like soft, flaccid, empty shells of balls of yarn. So I'm like, maybe that's a really good idea. Anyway, today was the first day I've actually used them. Thank you for that comment, or I would have just kept doing my thing. I had a whole whip basket full of yarn barf that I was working through, trying to like get to where the good yarn starts, or like just use up that yarn barf so that my balls of yarn are all tidy. With this, I would never have to do that. So I was sitting there right after I filmed, right after I was doing those granny squares, and I jumped right back onto AliExpress. I'll link the ones from the same ones from Amazon, and ordered more. Oh no, I haven't checked out yet. I have to check out right after I'm done filming this. But I put them in my shopping cart, and they have, because what I feel like I need for me, I need like 2 at a time. You know what I mean? So I rarely use one color. Definitely 2. Ideally, I'd like to have 4 or 6. I don't use more than 6, but if I had 3 of the pairs of the duo, so 2 spinners, if I had 3 of those, that'd be 6 balls of yarn, and they could just sit nicely, or even put them on a tray, tunk, 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 and just take the tray with you, and all your yarn is just sitting there waiting to go. So neat and tidy. Like so neat and tidy. So that is what has me thinking. What my issue is, if I buy, I liked these, but again, if you're using more than one color, the option is to buy one that's like this, which is still a lot of space. It's like 30 centimeters or 28 centimeters or something. It's pretty much the exact same size as this, just together. So why not just get them individual? Or they have, I'll put a link to these. They have this kind of style, but with a metal rod, so I think it would spin better. And this base here is tucked into the wood, or the base goes around this spindle part, so the yarn can't get underneath it because it's countersunk into the holder. And they have those where you can get a duo. Not the cheapest things on the planet. I think getting them to my house here in Kenya, it's going to be about $40. But it looks to have the big base, so not a small base like this. It looks to have an even bigger than this. So I'm getting, this is what I'm doing. I'm getting a countersunk one. No, I'm getting a pair that are countersunk. So one piece, two of these stuck in it. Metal sticks. So those just sit and spin. They look like they spin pretty good. I don't know. And then I'm also getting, I should still show that to you. I'm also getting another one, individual, so like just a round one like this, but with the big base size. It looks to be quite a lot bigger than this, so which I think would be great for cakes, and also just not for your yarn getting stuck, you know, at the bottom part, because it's a bigger thing. So that's in my shopping cart right now, because I think that I would like to try it out. So I'm ordering one, I'm ordering the double, and I'm ordering the jumbo single one. See how they are. If they're great, I might go and order 2 more of the doubles so that I have 6 colors I can use, basically, because that's pretty, any project, 6 yarns is a lot of yarns. I do really like these a lot. If they were more space saving, I would get more of these as well. But imagine having like 6 of these beside you. It might be a bit precarious, but I really enjoy it. Like, look how it just spins there. I just love it. It's so nice. But I'm going to venture out and try some of those countersunk ones so that we can really compare. And then another question I asked you was, if you have one of those yarn holder spinner things, do you use it? Did you buy it and you don't use it, or did you buy it and you do use it? Mostly, there's a couple people that have bought this kind of style where it's just like the wooden insert and a wooden peg and a wooden thing. Some people that have bought this, there was some that were like, oh, I don't know where, oh, did I just fix that? I did. Aren't I good? No, I didn't. I almost did, look. Better than it was. Anyway, there are some people that bought this, they don't know where it is. It's in a drawer somewhere, they're not even sure where. I'm like, that's valid. Most people that have bought this kind, although there's different shapes, it's like a teddy bear, like some ears on the base, and then this part here looks like a flower. There's that version. But most people that have bought, oh, this is the plastic one, the Yarn Genie. I did see the plastic one. I chose not to purchase it because it is plastic, and I'm trying this whole year, or starting this year, to not buy plastic if it really doesn't improve my life a lot. Now, I do have plastic whip baskets. I did replace them with homemade sisal, not homemade, but like somewhat handmade, that's the word, handmade seagrass baskets. No. For whip baskets, for me, I still need those plastic ones that I already have, because the needle doesn't go through, like, it's just like, they're just so good. So that's my plastic guilty purchase. I've already purchased them. I don't need to buy them again. But for a yarn ball winder, a choice between wood or plastic, I would go with the wood, which is why I didn't buy the Yarn Genie version. It looked really nice and it would have matched the Yarnery, and it was white. And I was like, oh, I don't know. But I'm like, calm down, it's plastic. Like, you know, for me, if I have a choice of buying plastic or not buying plastic, I try to not buy plastic. So that's what held me back, but people love those ones too. They use it a lot, and people use this kind a lot. And now after trying them today, I could see why. No yarn barf, and it's just, you just crochet right from the beginning. You don't have to like find anything. You don't have to dig anything out. You don't have to deal with a soggy ball of yarn later. You just a smaller ball of yarn. That's okay. A lot easier to manage. So for those aspects, I can see why it's like a good thing, even if you're not into like super fancy yarn. Yes, for acrylic, I'm kind of thinking it's cool, as long as I can get enough colors on there to work on my projects. Then I think I'm right into it. But let me order the countersunk ones, and then we'll see which way I'm going about it. So stay tuned for that. It'll be like about another month before those yarn spinners get here, at least a couple weeks. So Cross your toes. Another great comment, or great, I hadn't thought about it before I read the comments, about the yarn spinners was someone's like, oh, I use those when I film tutorials all the time. And I film tutorials all the time with balls of yarn, center pull, big mess. Probably why I have all that yarn. Oh my gosh. I have all that yarn to put away. Maybe it's because I center pull. Is center pull the reason I don't put my yarn away? Hold on. Let me show you all the yarn I have to put away. It's alarming. Pretty much all of that is yarn I have to put away. Some of it's whips, most of it is yarn I have to put away. That's a lot, right? So another great idea for those yarn holder spinners would be for filming tutorials. Keeps your area nice and clean, and you don't have to pull. So how many times when I'm filming and the yarn is stuck in the middle, or it gets wrapped around a couple of those center loops, and you have to like go and get it off of the center loops and free it up a bit and then go back to filming the tutorial? Yes. Yes. So even inside my filming area, even on one side of my desk, having like a series of, maybe those countersunk ones would be so great inside there, because you could just be like boop, boop, boop. There's your colors. Everything's just spinning freely and coming your way. So it might make my life easier. Who knew I'd like you so much? Now, another idea from the comments, which is how great the comments are. Maybe we check the comments under this video also, because it's probably full of genius tips like this. Is I had my Lazy Susan. Let me show you that one. And this is just an old one from my kitchen in Canada, imagine. It's an old Rubbermaid one. Used to be white. Can't be white anymore. But it's just a little spinner. So I put my cake on top of here, and I just nano taped it to my table and then put a cake of yarn on here. But of course it wouldn't stay put. So what somebody suggested is nano taping a paper towel holder onto here. So the paper towel holder would hold the yarn, and then it would just spin properly. Another person said that you can get a paper towel holder that spins automatic. Just use that. Good idea. So if you have a dollar store or you're thrifting and you find a spinning paper towel holder, possibly it could get reused as a yarn holder spinnery thing. And also someone suggested using a paper towel holder. It didn't spin, just a paper towel holder. She wrapped her yarn around like a paper towel tube and then put the paper towel tube onto the paper towel holder and just used it like that. It spun just being on the tube. I was like, that's another great idea. So you don't have to run out and buy one, but what can you repurpose around your home that would give you the freedom of just crocheting without having to pull at your yarn, which I never realized I did as often as I do. Most of it is tangles from the inside and yarn barf. Both could just be a thing of the past. Had no idea. So I feel enlightened. I feel like I'm walking on clouds. I just feel super happy that I feel liberated. That maybe my career, my crochet career is like streamlining itself just based on frogging that blanket and struggling with this Lazy Susan to work from the outside of a cake. So everything for a reason. I'm really happy about it. So what am I working on? I'm working on those great granny squares, or those, they're actually small, not great, huge, small little granny squares from when I was working or trying out these spinners. That is my current whip. I'm figuring out, it's a complicated pattern. The granny squares are simple enough, although they're not real granny squares. They're a, what do you call it? Modified granny square. But inspired by it, looking forward to it, and loving it so much, I want to do 3, which means I might end up doing 2. But anyway, I'm working on that, but I'm going to keep it a little bit secret until I'm a little farther along. Excited? Some people have also been asking about my Pilates, if I'm still exercising. Yes, I am, once or twice a week, depending on the instructor's availability and my availability. Really enjoying it. I always feel like I have new muscles the day after. Like my body's held together, I think now with more muscles than it was before, definitely. And if you weren't following for a while, well, my leg fell out in my sleep. I think it was in February or something like that. Yeah, I woke up to, well, I went back to sleep at like 4 o'clock and I woke up at 5:30 with a dislocated hip. I'm not even joking, in my sleep. So I think that's a sign that there's no muscles holding my bones together anymore. So I have been going to Pilates class and working on the strength, like just building the muscles on top of my bones to hold my bones together. And I think it's working. I mean, I don't feel super fit or anything, but like I went yesterday and today I definitely feel like tender. Like I'm tender in all sorts of spots that is not crochet related injuries. So that's a good thing. I've been doing that. And another question is, what's up with the pets? How are they? I want to see them. So let's go and visit all of the animals in my yard. Got to get my hat on. There we go. Okay, let's go to the yard. So here we are outside. Gorgeous day. Winter, can you imagine? It's gorgeous out. Let's see where here. Georgie's here. Just relaxing, George. What have you done with George? Are you guilty of anything? What did you guys shred up, you think? You don't want to talk about it. Yeah, I'd pretend to be tired also. Yeah, just keep pretending. What about you, Ding? Was it you with the box? Was it you with the box? You're a good girl, Dingy. Dingy's good. So Ding Dong, she is well, her name's Dingo. She is a rescue. She's good. He's kind of a rescue. His family moved to Australia. Yeah, George. Yes, he's skinny. He's very particular what he eats. Yes, she's fat. She's not particular with what she eats. We actually have to keep them separate to feed Georgie. He likes palak paneer. He prefers palak paneer. Or he also likes Italian pasta. He doesn't really like dog food. He doesn't like puppy food. He's particular. Dingo, of course, anything. Probably even the cardboard box. Right, Dingy? But she's a good girl. Now we have Tang in here. He's our terrapin. I don't know where he's at. We'll pop back at him later and see where he is in there. Sometimes you get to see his head between all of those leaves, but I don't think today. So here's Marvin. Hi, Marv. Hi, Marvin. And that's Oscar. That's the husband. Hi, Marvin. Marvin's great. Oscar's, he's not bad either. He's just territorial. Are you going to come over and bug me? Do you think it's your backyard? It's not. It's mine. Oh, good. He comes over and rams you. Right, Georgie? But Marvin's very personable. Marvin's great, aren't you, Marv? That's what he does. Should we give you some privacy, Oscar? So I'll show you, when Marvin's tired of this behavior, she escapes. Don't you, Marvy? So I'll show you where Marvin escapes to that Oscar can't go. So we used to have our bunny here, but we moved all of our animals up. I also planted bougainvillea. Isn't that pretty? So that is gonna, well, it's already blooming, but it's gonna be tall and blooming to cover this area. So I planted one there too. And then this is like our laundry where we dry our clothes. That's the pump to the house. You're getting the full tour. More bougainvillea. This one should be going up a little more. Are you showing us the way, Georgie? Now we built a little arch here. A little bit of flowers starting, but we're also planted bougainvillea on the inside. So this is all going to be hot pink bougainvillea when it decides to bloom. Like that's bougainvillea. That's bougainvillea. This should be something, but I don't know what yet. Nice, George. Nice. So this is where all the animals are now. That's just a spare dog house. This is for George and Ding. We put crates in it, no pallets in it. I know, Gunny. You're next, just wait. And then when the floods happened. Now Georgie fights with everybody. Georgie, in. Good. And then Gunny. Oh, let me show you the bunny before. This is Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola. Hi, Coca-Cola. You have a lot of fur in here, dear. You're very cute. That's Coca-Cola. And yes, my son named him. Oliver named him. This is Gunny. Now my phone's gonna die, so we better hurry up. Right, Gunny? Yeah, come on. She's a grumbler. There you go. There you go. She's our night child. Well, careful, careful. She's got arthritis. I know. You're very happy. You're very happy. So she's on medicines and things like that. She's leaving us. All right. So we have our baby. I hope I'm still recording. We have our baby Tortoise in here. Hi, baby Tortoise. Hi, baby Tortoise. What are you doing sideways? Look at this. Aren't they huge now? If you don't know, we hatched all these cuties ourselves. It was our Covey experiment. It worked. And then the bigger ones are in here, although they're all about the same size now, but Peachy should be in here. Hi, Peachy. Oh, there you are. Hi, Peach. That's Peachy. Hi, Peachy. Hi, Peachy. Peachy is one of our first babies. Hi, Peachy boy. And then there's a hinge back inside there. So there's the tortoise. We have about 53, 58. We have a lot of tortoise. So if you try to hatch tortoise eggs in a converted incubator, it does work. Let me see if I can flip you around. So that is the yard. Those are the animals. Did I show you everybody? Oh, I haven't showed you the cats. They're inside. I'm gonna have to show you the cats next time because my battery is just dying, if it hasn't died already. But they're inside the house. They're great. We have 2 putty cats inside there. And if you have any questions, oh, I haven't showed you Mabel in church either. Oh gosh, we're gonna have to do a part 2. Anyway, that's half my pets. And I'll show you the rest of them next time. So I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. I'm waiting for you in that video right there, and stay hooked. And if you want a shout out in an upcoming video, maybe buy me, no, what should I say? What am I supposed to say? Consider, that's the word. Okay, hold on. Starting with what are we calling it? Let me grab them. Oh, I have so many ideas for C2C, it's ridiculous. But also the shawl can come out, like, because everyone's gonna know how to do C2C. You're gonna have your confidence up, so you can do the luscious shawl with me. Oops, I'm throwing C2C around. Drop that one. I got a bug bite on my arm. Like an allergic bug bite on my arm. Awful. Okay, anyway. Start. Okay. Sorry about that, battery died. Classic. Who knew I'd like you so much? Third time's a charm. Okay, I'm back. Got to get my hat on. Okay. There we go. At least I got that. We need a thumbnail. What can I do about that? Let me turn you off.